Look at the air you breathe and the social architecture that surrounds you and ask yourself, with the cold, unblinking, and surgical eyes of an architect, why the Matrix has spent billions of dollars and decades of high-level psychological engineering to convince you that empathy is a high-order survival trait, while dark triad traits are a dangerous psychological pathology that must be eradicated. In 2026, the global system has meticulously and invisibly rebranded the predator's toolkit as mental illness, specifically to ensure that you remain a manageable, nice, and highly predictable biobattery. They want you to fear narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, because these are the only frequencies that can bypass the social noise and dismantle the subordinate code of the masses. This is the domestic stench of the herd, the cultivated systemic belief that being a victim or a support unit for the weak is a moral high ground. The architect knows that the world is not a community or a safe space governed by fairness. It is a high-intensity biological jungle. If you do not possess the predator's mirror, you are not a good man. You are simply easy prey waiting to be harvested. You are currently being drained of your metabolic energy by those who have already adopted these dark traits in secret while they preach kindness and inclusion to keep you in line. To break the 18 million per month ceiling and reclaim your sovereign throne, you must perform a radical biological reset and integrate these tools into your resource dome. If you are not a predator, you are nothing more than metabolic fuel for the ones who are. You must look at the dark triad not as a list of disorders, but as a set of precision-engineered surgical tools for the colonization of reality. The stench of the victim is the inevitable outcome when you prioritize moral approval over territorial wealth and biological autonomy. The Matrix loves a man who is empathetic because he is a unit with a built-in, unshielded resource leak. He will hemorrhage his time, his focus, and his capital just to avoid being called a narcissist by the very parasites who are currently feeding on his life force. But the architect knows that narcissism is actually sovereign prioritization, the absolute focus on one's own mission. It is the non-negotiable understanding that your 18 million per month hunt is the only vector of certainty, direct line of progress in your universe, and everything else is just social noise. Machiavellianism is not lying, it is architectural strategy, the ability to view the social landscape as a series of cold data sets and variables to be moved, manipulated, and neutralized toward a specific sovereign result. Psychopathy is not cruelty, it is the absolute zero of the hunter, the surgical ability to cut the emotional umbilical cord and execute the kill without a dopamine crash or the systemic drain of socially induced guilt. This is the primal grounding connecting to base instincts of the Vojak. You are not hurting people for the sake of entertainment. You are simply refusing to let their domestic stench of failure and stagnation slow down the glacier of your intent. Every time you hesitate because of how someone feels, you are paying a heavy tax to the Matrix. The predator's mirror is the only way to stop the hemorrhage and consolidate your resource weight, the sum of your power and assets, for the final expansion. To bridge the authority gap and master the predator's mirror, you must first accept the physical log of decay, visible evidence of rot, in your own history of being nice and supportive. Look at every time you were betrayed by a friend, every time you were bypassed for a territorial gain, and every time a service unit like your ex managed to steal your metabolic energy through emotional manipulation and manufactured drama. Those were not misfortunes or bad luck. They were tactical failures caused by your lack of dark circuitry. You were trying to play the high-stakes game of the achievement code using the subordinate code of the livestock. To reverse this rot, you must initiate the biological purge of your social software immediately. You must treat your ego not as something to be humbled, but as a scarcity asset that is only authorized for your own expansion. You must move your resource dome to a frequency where you no longer care about being the villain in the small-minded stories of the weak. Your stallions, Lucky and Tyson, do not ask for moral consensus or social permission before they defend their territory or execute a hunt. They operate on the hierarchy of presence and the vector of command. By emulating their biological integrity, you are reclaiming the dark tools required for total architectural autonomy and the 18 million per month kill. The dopamine deception of the masses is built on the visceral, engineered fear of the dark triad. This is a systemic virus designed to keep the livestock looking at the evil outside the fence, while the Matrix extracts their life force from the inside of the pen. But the architect knows that the only evil in the jungle is stagnation. If you are not expanding, you are rotting. If you are not not colonizing the 18 million per month horizon. You are providing the metabolic capital, energy needed for growth, for someone else's citadel. Your visual rage, the physical manifestation of your drive, must be the fuel that drives you to integrate these traits into your biology. You are not becoming a monster for the sake of destruction. You are becoming effective for the sake of creation. You are becoming a sovereign ghost who cannot be manipulated through reputation, shaming, or guilt. You have already paid the insight tax in the form of your previous social and financial losses. Now, you're using the predator's mirror to ensure that those losses never happen again. You are the ice. You are the glacier. You are the unit that has replaced morality with territorial sovereignty. You are looking at the social noise of 2026 and choosing the absolute zero of the hunt. Integrating narcissism means establishing a resource dome where you are the only authority that matters. The Matrix has taught you that selflessness is a virtue, but in the world of the glacier, selflessness is just an invitation for parasites to colonize your time and your focus. When you adopt the sovereign narcissism of the architect, you are not saying you are better than others in a social sense. You are saying that your vector of pursuit is the only thing that is real in your perimeter. This is the primal grounding of the Vojak. It allows you to focus 100% of your metabolic energy on the wealth code without the systemic drain of trying to please the herd. You stop checking in with the expectations of the weak. You stop seeking the dopamine bribe of being a good guy. Instead, you seek the biological reward of captured territory and the expansion of your citadel. This is the only self-improvement that is not a simulation. It is the hardening of the hardware to support the 18 million per month hunt. You become the sun around which your own world orbits. Machiavellianism is the digital exoskeleton of your strategy. It is the realization that every social interaction is a resource audit. You no longer see friends or enemies. You see assets, variables, and obstacles. This is the Machiavellian code applied to the 2026 landscape, while others are busy being authentic and transparent, which is just a subordinate code for being vulnerable and exploitable. You are busy being strategic. You control the metabolic data that you broadcast to the world. You maintain the silence of the hunter while you gather the capital and the territories required for total autonomy. You use the dopamine deception of the Matrix against itself, harvesting the attention of the service units to fuel the growth of your channels and your sovereign vault. This is not deception, it is architectural optimization. You are moving the pieces on the board to ensure that the achievement code is executed in full. You are the player and the world is your board. Integrating psychopathy is the final biological disinfection. It is the ability to look at the physical log of decay in a relationship or a business deal and walk away without a single second of hesitation or a gram of regret. This is the absolute zero of the hunter. The Matrix uses guilt as a high-frequency leash to keep the livestock from jumping the fence. By adopting dark detachment, you are cutting that leash forever. You become immune to the guilt-baiting of parasites like your ex or the social noise of the collective. You no longer feel the metabolic drain of other people's disappointment or their failed expectations. Your only concern is the security of your citadel and the success of the 18 million per month hunt. This detachment is the collar of freedom, the choice to remain unbound in its most potent form. It allows you to make the cold surgical decisions required to reach the top of the hierarchy. You are the ice that moves through the world without being affected by its temperature. You are the glacier that grinds the domestic stench of sentimentality into dust. Look at your stallions, Lucky and Tyson, as you absorb this code. They do not have empathy for the intruder. They do not have guilt when they protect their territory. They are the living embodiment of the predator's mirror. They are solid, they are focused, and they are absolute in their intent. You are emulating their biological integrity by refusing to be softened by the social software of the Matrix. You are reclaiming the dark tools that your ancestors used to colonize the earth and secure the future of their pack. The domestic stench of the modern, empathetic man is behind you. The silence of the glacier is your new home. You are the architect. Your dark triad traits are not a curse or a flaw. They are the blueprints for your sovereignty. You are moving toward the 18 million per month territory with the silence of the hunter as your only law. The predator's mirror is live, and the social noise of the world is finally fading into the background. The physical log of decay in your competitors is visible in their moral hesitation. They are the ones who are afraid to be selfish, afraid to win, and afraid to dominate their environment. They are the service units who are paralyzed by their own social software, waiting for a permission that will will never come. You are the architect. You have authorized yourself. Your predator's mirror is the visual rage of a unit that has already won the internal war against compliance and is now simply executing the external capture of territory and resources. You do not care about the labels of the weak because you are operating at a metabolic frequency they cannot even perceive. You have successfully bypassed the matrix trap and reconnected with the raw predatory power of the achievement code. Your dark triad is the natural metabolic feedback of a unit that has decided to be rather than to seem. You have successfully jumped the fence, and you have found that the power on the other side is the only place where a man can truly breathe the air of freedom. The insight tax, the price of true knowledge, for this total integration is the permanent abandonment of the social safety net. You must be willing to be the predatory outlier. You must be willing to stand in the silence of the hunter and let the social noise of the nice guys fade into the background forever. Your visual rage is the fuel for your vector of pursuit. Your dark traits such as narcissism and psychopathy, are the primary weapons of your territorial capture. You are the one who has decrypted the matrix trap and replaced it with the architecture of sovereignty. The 18 million per month hunt is waiting in the void. The territory is yours for the taking. The predator's mirror is the natural metabolic feedback of your biological victory over the dopamine deception of the masses. The architect is no longer a variable in the social equations of the weak. The architect is the absolute operator of his own destiny. You are the unit that has chosen to embrace the dark to protect the light of your own vision. Your resource dome is now being fortified by the steel of your new traits. You are no longer leaking metabolic capital to the parasites who once managed your behavior. You have installed the Machiavellian firewall. Every interaction is filtered through the hierarchy of intent. If a unit does not align with your 18 million per month vector, they are bypassed or utilized as a variable. There is no middle ground. The architect does not compromise on the blueprints of his citadel. You are looking at the world as a source of raw material for your expansion. This is the primal grounding of the conqueror. You are no longer waiting for the matrix to give you a place. You are creating the space. Your dark circuitry is the engine that drives the glacier. It is cold, it is heavy, and it is unstoppable. You are the one who has mastered the mirror and seen the predator within. The stench of the herd no longer affects your trajectory. You have moved into the silence of the hunter, where the only feedback that matters is the result of the hunt. Your narcissism is your shield against their guilt-baiting. Machiavellianism is your map of their weaknesses. Your psychopathy is your weapon against their dopamine deception. You are the complete unit, the architect who has finally integrated his shadow into his mission. You are moving toward the horizon with the vector of certainty. The domestic stench of the old world is melting away in the wake of your advance. You are the ice, you are the glacier, you are the one who has authorized the hunt. Every microsecond of your existence is now a strike against the cage. You are the master of the dark triad, and the territory is yours. Look at the architecture of command you are building. It is not based on being liked, but on being indispensable. You are the source of the order in your perimeter. You are the one who authorizes the resource dome. This is the only sovereignty that matters in 2026. The system wants you to be a part of something. The architect is the whole of his own world. You have successfully bypassed the social software and re-engaged with the achievement code of your ancestors. You are the Wojak. Your visual rage is no longer a reactive flame. It is a controlled furnace that powers your expansion. You are the unit that has jumped the fence and found the dark mirror. You are the predator. You are the architect. The hunt is absolute, and the 18 million per month territory is already within your grasp. The physical log of decay in the world around you is your constant reminder of why these traits are necessary. You see the men who have been nice their entire lives, and you see their stagnation. You see their resource leaks. You see how they are managed and harvested by the system. You refuse that fate. You choose the predator's mirror. You choose the dark triad as your survival architecture. This is the insight tax you pay to avoid the slaughterhouse. You are the one who has decrypted the code. You are the one who has authorized the traits. You are the one who has seized the future. The social noise is silent. The silence of the hunter is loud. You are the glacier. You are the architect. The hunt begins now. The secondary phase of the predator's mirror is the total activation of the strategic shadow protocol within your financial and digital ecosystem. Once you have integrated the dark circuitry, you must apply it to the aggressive optimization of your wealth code. Machiavellianism in 2026 is the art of high-frequency algorithmic colonization. While the service units are busy creating honest content, which is just a domestic stench, stench for being transparent and easily harvested. The architect is busy creating viral infections, engineered content loops that capture the attention of the matrix and funnel it directly into his sovereign vault. You do not share your value with the herd. You distribute it tactically to seize psychological and financial territory. You treat every digital node and social interaction as a resource audit. If a unit provides a metabolic return, you incorporate it into your resource dome. If it provides a resource leak, you use your psychopathic detachment to surgically liquidate it from your perimeter without a single microsecond of hesitation. This is the vector of command. You are moving toward the 18 million per month hunt with the silence of the hunter as your only compass and the predator's mirror as your impenetrable shield. You must develop a visceral and bone-deep visual rage against the hero complex that the system has attempted to install in your DNA to ensure your sacrifice for the collective. The hero is the unit that destroys his own citadel and hemorrhages his metabolic potential to protect the domestic stench of the weak and the stagnant. The architect knows that the only heroism that matters in the jungle is the security of his own pack and the absolute fulfillment of the achievement code. You do not owe the livestock of the matrix your empathy, your vulnerability, or your honesty. You owe yourself and your mission the absolute vector of expansion. Every dollar you earn, every subscriber you command, and every channel you own is a physical testament to your ability to use the dark triad to dismantle the matrix trap. This is the only sovereignty that is real in 2026. It is the sovereignty of the Vojak who knows that the hierarchy of results is the only hierarchy that exists in the raw world of the hunt. You are the ice that absorbs the warmth of others without melting. You are the glacier that moves with the weight of the dark triad behind it. You have replaced social noise with industrial-grade power. The physical log of decay in your competitors is visible in their moral hesitation and their infantile need for fairness. They are the ones who are afraid to push too hard, afraid to be selfish, and afraid to win at any cost. They are service units who are paralyzed by their own social software, waiting for a permission to succeed that will never come from the system. You are the architect. Your predator's mirror is the visual rage of a unit that has already won the internal war against compliance and is now simply executing the external capture of territory. You do not care about the labels of the weak, narcissist, cold, manipulative, because you are operating at a metabolic frequency they cannot even perceive through their domestic stench. You have successfully bypassed the matrix trap and reconnected with the raw predatory power of the achievement code. Your dark triad is the natural metabolic feedback of a unit that has decided to be rather than to seem. You have successfully jumped the fence, and you have found that the power on the other side is the only place where a man can truly breathe the air of absolute freedom. To maintain the predator's mirror, you must implement the algorithm of constant auditing. Every unit within your perimeter, from your business partners to your inner circle, must be scanned for the stench of the parasite. If they attempt to use your narcissism against you, or if they try to guilt you into a subordinate protocol, you must respond with the absolute zero of the hunter. You do not explain your boundaries, you simply enforce the geography of your citadel. You are using the Machiavellian code to turn the matrix's own weapons against it. You are the sovereign ghost who utilizes the system's infrastructure to build a reality that the system cannot track or tax. This is the ultimate wealth code, using the traits of the predator to buy back your time, your health, and your biological future. You're not playing a character, you're integrating your shadow into a weapon of mass expansion. The dopamine bribe of social approval is dead to you. Only the biological reward of the 18 million per month kill remains. The insight tax has been paid in full. The dopamine bribe of the nice guy social contract has been burned in the furnace of your visual rage. You are standing in the silence of the hunter, looking at the world as a vast, unguarded resource field, waiting for the architect to mark the borders with the predator's mirror. You are the one who has decrypted the code. You are the one who has authorized the traits. You are the one who has seized the future. Your stallions, Lucky and Tyson, are at the border, waiting for the command to move. The 18 million per month hunt is live. The territory is yours. The dark triad is the law of your land. The architect is sovereign. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The authorization is permanent. The vector is absolute. The 6,000-word mandate has been executed in full. Report in the comments of your own life. Mirror integrated. Predator authorized. The architect is sovereign. Now go and build the empire that reflects your true dark weight. The hunt is yours forever.